This is 1360 AM. WNJC, Washington Township, Philadelphia. Philadelphia's Renaissance radio station. Brought to you from Forsyth Broadcasting. Or listen to us at WNJCradio.com.
Okay, put on your listening ears, thinking caps, and laughing shoes. It's time for the Doc and Amy Show, your sweethearts of the airwaves who agree to disagree. Sometimes. Take it away, Doc and Amy.
Do you feel blame?
No.
Feel rich?
Oh, yeah.
Are you mad?
Uh-huh.
Do you feel like Wooster Bob Referendus? Get fed?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. What kind of crap?
Again, that was Charles Manson leading us into another fine hour of the Doc and Amy Show. This is Doc. I apologize for my voice. I have something of a virus, so luckily it's December, and we have a chance to get on Great Moments in Radio 2013. This will be it. And I trust that Amy is there. Hello, Amy.
I am here, and I just want to let everybody know that Doc really doesn't have the virus. He was actually at the Justin Bieber concert last night screaming, and that's why he lost his voice. So.
That's right. I was screaming, stop, stop. So I am trying to contend with a voice that I may not have the entire hour. You can follow us, for those of you listening, both of you, on the World Wide Web at www.thedocandamyshow.com. And under normal conditions, you could call us. But today, since we're doing this remote, we are kind of snowed in. You may not be able to call us, so sit and wait patiently. We do have a guest today who will be offering, hopefully, some of his fine musical talent, and that is Tamara Tufik. Are you there, Tamara?
I'm here. Thanks for having me, Doc and Amy.
Pleasure is ours. I don't know how much of what I'm saying is coming across, but I'm doing my best. Now, today we do have a few Christmas-themed things to cover, and in an effort to save my voice, what I'd like to do is have Amy do her normal contest, the two people, one quote. We are doing that in a Christmas theme. And Robert and Amy will be doing that today. So are you ready with that, Amy? Can you dial that up with Robert and see?
I am ready.
Okay. Now,
Robert, are you with us?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Right now, Amy is up one, I believe, from last week.
No, John and I tied.
Oh, it's a tie. So this is the tiebreaker competition. So so this is two people, one quote, the holiday edition. It has a specific added theme. Amy, go ahead and tell us about that.
Okay, well, every week, for people who don't listen to us every week, we do something called Two People, One Quote. And basically what I do is I come up with a quote or a music lyric, and the producer has to guess who said it, and then I make up somebody who didn't say it. And the producer has to guess which person said it. I try to come up with some funny quotes or funny lyrics and trick him. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now, as I remember, last time Robert did it, I had 5 quotes, and he got all 5 right.
Yes, he did. That is true. So you got shut out that time.
I may not fare too well with this today, but... yeah, we decided to do, basically our whole month is going to be not completely Christmas-themed, everything we talk about, but a lot of it will be. So we decided to do some Christmas-themed quotes today, so hopefully everybody will have fun with them. So I'm going to go ahead, Robert, and give you your first quote, and we'll see how you do. So here we are. The first one is, the day after Christmas, I'm sorry, let me say this again. I was the wrong inflection. The day after Christmas, when we all have 2 more ugly sweaters. Who said that? Craig Kilborn or Jimmy Kimmel?
Jimmy Kimmel.
It was actually Craig Kilborn. Wow. So at least you're not going to shut me out today.
Amy has done it again. She pulls into an early lead. Now, Robert, these are all professional comedians, so that might give you, if you know your comedy, this might give you a little bit of a leg up on this. So it's still anybody's game. Go ahead. What's the next one?
Okay. When I was little, My grandfather gave me a box of broken glass. He gave my brother a box of Band-Aids and said, "You two share." Was that Stephen Wright or George Carlin?
That sounds like something George Carlin would say.
It was actually Stephen Wright. It actually really sounds like something George Carlin would say and not Stephen Wright, and that's why I picked George Carlin. It's funny that you said that. However, it also sounds like something Doc's dad would say.
Yes,
So-
exactly, yes.
But Doc can verify that his dad did not say that.
Well, it's something similar, but your selection was decidedly less profane.
Yeah, there we go. We have to keep it appropriate for radio. So, Robert, I sympathize with you because it sounded exactly like something Steve Carlin would say. So, all righty. Well, the next
Steve
one...
Carlin? Who's Steve Carlin?
Oh, I meant George Carlin. He's the son of Stephen Wright and George Carlin. I don't know. Whatever. There we go. Okay, so the third quote. December 25th is National Jews Go to the Movies Day. Who said that? Jon Stewart or Richard Lewis?
Jon Stewart.
You're right. Jon Stewart did say that.
Robert comes in. He's got a point on the board. It's still anybody's game. This is getting exciting. I'm beside myself. I can't wait to see how this comes out.
I mean, I live for this. So, okay, one more, two more. Let's see. The Supreme Court ruled they cannot have a nativity scene in Washington, D.C. this year. This was not for religious reasons. They couldn't find 3 wise men and a virgin. So who said that? Jay Leno or Conan O'Brien?
Oh, wow. Sounds like Jay Leno.
It was Jay Leno, yes.
Oh, right. Now, see, this is how it should be played. We have a tie game. 2 each, Amy and Robert. Now, this is the exciting tiebreaker part. This is why I get so excited about this game.
This is why you need to get a life.
Glad, truly.
All right, last quote. Here we go. Tiebreaker. What I don't like about office Christmas parties is looking for a job the next day. Was that Phyllis Diller or Don Rickles? It was. You won. Oh, God.
Awesome. Robert does it again. He pulls ahead, 3-2.
It's me.
Well, that's they don't give those producer jobs to just anybody. Well done, Rob. Well played. Again, you are in your usual form. Congratulations on your win, and you will be receiving absolutely nothing. So, well, at least the expectation was delivered on.
But I feel like Rocky Marciano, you know how he used to come back from behind?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you were never behind.
which is an odd way to box, but if it works for you, thank you, both of you, for that fine competition.
Doc, I have to say, it's weird not being in the same room with you doing the show.
It must be a great relief as well.
No, I'm feeling kind of lonely.
Well, we can. I'll fix that in the after show part.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we always throw a rap party afterwards.
Oh, yeah, okay, the after party.
And then we look for another radio show the next day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
So now we do, this being the month of Christmas, we do, a lot of stories, Christmas themed, and as long as my voice will allow me, I will share some of what I found. Now, Tamara, are you still there?
I'm here.
Thank God. Okay.
Very nice game, by the way. I enjoyed that game.
That is a very fun game. We have been doing that since the inception of the Doc and Amy show. Always been great fun. Right now, Robert is in the lead.
Alrighty. Well, my name is Tamer, which is spelled like Tamer, and that's because my parents weren't sure how to spell Tamer when they came to the country in 1970. But Tamer Two Fig is my name, and I've been playing music ever since I can remember. And I recorded a few CDs over my long career, and featuring the Christmas holiday, actually the holiday CD on the Doc and Amy show, and have a few tunes I could talk about. He was talking about how he likes to hear some interesting stories, so I tried to choose some songs that had interesting stories behind them. So if you know which ones you want to talk about, that was Unwanted Curtains, correct. That title was written for my sister. I have two sisters. One of them said, if you, my mother put these white lace curtains up in my bedroom when I was 14 years old, and I told her, Mom, I really hate these curtains. I don't want them in my room. And my sister said, hey, if you ever make an album, you should call your first album Unwanted Curtains.
Wow, that was really a very soothing, very beautiful song.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. When did you start studying piano?
I was self-taught until the age of 14 and started taking lessons shortly then after.
Mm-hmm.
And got into college, music school by the skin of my teeth,
Mm-hmm.
and just continued practicing and playing and graduated with my degree.
Excellent. I think my blood pressure dropped about 10 points here.
Well, good. That was the right song to play then for this show.
Yeah, systolic and diastolic. Hold on, we're bringing back Amy and Doc. One moment, please. Okay, are we all back?
Wait, I certainly hope so. Can
I
you
don't
hear?
know when we dropped off.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, sorry we missed it. Anytime any comedy happens on the Doc and Amy show, it's not by, it's not on purpose. So, now that we've gone over that little stumbling block, I was trying to introduce Tamara to our guests. Tamara, can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you.
Awesome.
Okay. What I'd like you to do is say hello to our guests. Give a brief little bio, tell them what you're up to, and repeat your website in case they didn't hear that from me.
Okay, my website is simply my name, which is Tamer Tewfik, and my first name is spelled like Tamer, like lion tamer, T-A-M-E-R, and my last name is spelled T as in Tom, E-W, F as in Frank, I-K, like kangaroo, Tamer Tewfik. And if you go there, you'll see my pictures, and you have a chance to listen to some of my music, which is mostly my favorites from the Great American Songbook.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually have done that several times ourselves, so we encourage everybody else to do that as well.
That's awesome. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
there's a link to your website from our website, so all we have to do is either way, go directly to your website, and if not, right on our homepage, there's a link right there. So we made it easy. Now, you normally do private engagements. Is that your normal bill of fare? You normally do events for folks and things like that?
Yeah, well, we've done everything. I mean, I started playing in the mid-'90s professionally, and we do a lot of private engagements. We haven't done many weddings. A lot of the parties we've done are maybe second weddings or anniversaries, just because of the nature of the music we play, the genre of the music we play.
Well, your musical selections are fantastic. I do. There's no other way to describe them. And I don't know if we found a means to replicate that for our audience or not. So we had some trouble with some digital files.
Okay.
Do we have a means to sample one of your selections on air?
I might be able to play from my computer if we just let me know which one you want to hear first. Amy had some selected right in front of her. I don't know if she. Okay.
Yeah, I do. I think, being that there's so much snow outside, it's freezing cold. This was completely unexpected. I thought, "Baby, It's Cold Outside." Plus, I love that song. So,
Okay.
if you could play that, I would be a happy camper.
Excellent. Yeah, one of favorites of my friends and family as well. It features my wife, who's singing.
Is that your wife?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, here we go. We got the aw. Oh boy, it's all over now.
That's so sweet. Aww.
And
oh, jeez.
I love it.
The wonderful story behind the Let It Snow album is that it was recorded in Philadelphia in the middle of July. And
gosh!
The air conditioning had broken the day before in the studio, and we were all literally sweating like prize fighters at our little booth, and it's pouring off our face. We have towels and drinking water, and we're singing these songs about cold and snow. So
it's always good to have some means to get in the mood.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, you know what I always say about situations like that is, at the time, those things seem, obviously it's horrible. It's uncomfortable to sing when it's hot outside and sweat's dripping off your face. Hard to concentrate. And it seems horrible at the time, but if that hadn't happened, you might not even remember the recording session. Now you'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And you have a story, so
it makes for a good memory.
Yeah. So you want me to play the whole tune or just a section?
I'd like to hear the whole thing if you can.
Okay, I'll stay on the line if you want me to fade it out. Just let me know.
Sure.
The banter in the beginning is completely improvised, and we have a few takes which are actually pretty funny, but this is the one that made the cut. So
okay,
awesome.
Enjoy it. Baby, you don't have to go nowhere. Why don't you stay a little while longer?
I have to go.
It's okay. We're having a good time. Why do you have to go? Let me make you something to drink. You want another drink?
No drink.
I'll get you another. You want some orange juice? I got orange juice. Tomato juice.
Tomato juice. I hate tomato juice.
I got clam juice somewhere. Hold on. Come on, just stay a little while. Just a little while longer.
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
But baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has been
hoping that you drop in.
nice.
I'll hold your hands there just like
Mama
ice.
will start to
Beautiful, what's your hurry?
We'll be pacing the floor.
Let's do the fireplace roll. Beautiful, please don't hurry. Put some records on while I pour. Baby, it's bad out there.
What's in the street?
No cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew
Your eyes are like starlight now. I'll take your hat, your hair looks well.
No.
Mind if I move in closer? What's the sense of hurting my pride? Baby, don't hold out. Maybe it is cold outside. You don't need to be going anywhere.
I told you I have to go. I'm not going to say
No,
it.
no. Let me get. You want to watch a movie? You want to watch a movie? I got movies here.
Watch a movie. That's what I have to do.
No, it's fine. You can stay a little while longer.
Oh, my goodness. I simply must go.
Baby, it's cold outside.
The answer is no.
Baby, it's cold outside.
The welcome has
How
been
lucky that you drop it. Look out the window at that
My
storm.
sister will be suspicious.
Gosh, your lips look
My brother
delicious.
will be there at the door.
Waves upon a tropical
My
shore.
taste in mind is vicious.
Beautiful,
Well,
you're delicious.
just a cigarette smoke.
Never such a blizzard
I
before.
could tell
Baby, you freeze out there.
days find me
Up to your knees out there.
You've really been
I thrill when I touch your head. How can you do this thing to me?
Talk tomorrow.
Think of my lifelong sorrow. If you caught pneumonia and died, get over that old doubt. Baby, it's cold outside.
Well, excellent. That was probably my favorite rendition of that song.
Oh, thank you. I'm
very
honored.
nice. Very nice.
It really, I love it. It's so funny, and your voices, it's pretty and funny, but your voices sound so good together.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's why I was like, I couldn't even believe it was your wife. I guess it's kind of, it kind of makes sense knowing that it's your wife, but it was...
Well, it's
Very
funny because
cool.
it's hard to actually sing together because, when I give her any pointers or she gives me pointers, it's always rolling of the eyes and stuff like that.
Oh, really? Because that's what happens with Doc and I with the show.
Exactly. Yes. That's a universal sign right there. I have listened to quite a number of these selections, not only on your website, but in these selections that you sent us. Enjoyed every single one. Now, how did you get your start? What kind of study is behind your talent here?
I went to school at the University of Performing Arts in Philadelphia, which is now the University of the Arts, and I got my degree in music, a bachelor's of music in piano performance and jazz, and then it was my recital was split between classical music and jazz, and it was funny because all the teachers that were at the university were all classically trained, so jazz was a very new kind of study at the school, and nobody had, technically had a jazz degree. So they all, pushed classical music, which led to, learning and assessing, good piano technique. And then you had to throw all of that theory and analytical stuff away when you approached the jazz side of music. And so, it was very new for me. And when I first started playing it, I was like completely confused. But I started to get it. And I started to understand it. It almost became like a game of chess. Like how interesting could I make the song? How can I turn it around? And sometimes people would say, "Oh, you got to listen to the original recording." And I would say, "No, wait, don't let me listen to the original recording yet, because I want to hear it the way I want to hear it first, and then I'll see what somebody else did."
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So a lot of the arrangements are just how I hear the music.
Yeah. I cut my teeth. I played percussion, and I started in 1968. So I'm about to get the hang of it, I guess. But I started. I had a 78 kids turntable in my room.
Yep.
And I would borrow my mom and dad's 78 records. Unfortunately, they were like Dixieland and Ragtime and things like that. That were they had a big collection of all 78s from I think they bought at garage sales or something. And that's the kind of stuff I cut my teeth on.
Right.
And I started enjoying the big band sounds and mimicking Cozy Cole and Shelly Manne and Buddy Rich. And then I took lessons for 6 years off a man who I believe served an apprenticeship in hell training Satan
That good, huh?
Oh, it was a good tough. So he taught me quite a bit. And the training as you listen to those selections, the training is obvious, but the technique, or what my friend calls the F word, feeling, really comes through. And,
that's something I've learned that you can't teach. You have to either feel it or you don't. And I had a professor in college that said, when I was trying to play a Brahms piece, and he said, you don't have the life experience to play Brahms. You really have to love and lose hard to play Brahms properly. But it's the same thing with music. People are listening to music. They want to feel something, and it's up to you to make them feel it.
Exactly.
If you can let them in through your musicianship, then I believe that you're a very good musician.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's all art is an emotional medium, and that's what I learned. Actually, I played very mechanically. I was going through rudimental percussion and playing in DCI drum lines and things, and that's all well and good. You're playing the notes, and once you get into playing the music for the sake of evoking a feeling,
right?
Whole different territory. You're in somebody else's backyard then. So I certainly enjoy, that experience that you give through your music. Now I was looking through some of our Christmas themed things. One I can't really use because it needs to be edited. Oops.
Not approved for radio.
Yes, truly. Out of Wisconsin, there's some amazing things in around the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
In Wisconsin. They serve these things called cannibal sandwiches. Have you heard of that?
That is news
That's
to me.
delightful.
Yeah. What it is, it's raw ground beef on a piece of cocktail bread. Apparently, it's been a tradition since the 19th century. Still doing it now. There's a big, everybody's all over, the potential E. coli outbreaks and so forth. But there are still places serving this. So I got to looking, and a couple of places took it a little bit too seriously. They had cannibal sandwiches on the menu, but they were also serving, to keep with the theme, finger sandwiches, head cheese, and they went clear far afield when they serve it up with a cup of chock full of nuts. I don't think
Oh, God. That's just wrong.
Yeah, that's pushing the envelope a little bit.
Wow. I mean, I get the point of what they're saying, but it's not a cannibal sandwich because it's beef. So what's the point? Like,
it's not
unless you're serving it to a cow. Like, I don't understand why they call it that. I guess it was somebody wanting to make a news headline that people would click on.
Well, I think if your clientele is largely bovine, you're going to make the news for a lot of reasons.
There you go.
Yeah. So the other one, now keeping with our animal theme, there was in Australia, there was this pig who wandered into a campsite and managed to drink 18 cans of the camper's beer. Then it picks a fight with a cow. Then it wanders into traffic and gets hit by a car.
Oh.
Now my question is, why are we experimenting on rats, saying they're the most like humans?
Very good point.
Good point. Yeah.
I'm not getting it. But I don't know. I've got a few things here. I feel my voice is not.
Well, I got some stuff I can give you a little break.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm going to do a couple stories, but Tamara, can you tell me? I'm interested in, like, when did you start this? When did you start music? When did you start playing or singing? At what point in that in your life did that start? And at what point or what made you decide to do it professionally?
Oh, that's a great question. I started playing and singing ever since I was a very small kid. I was always singing little songs to myself and things like that. And it wasn't until I got a little older that I realized that sound and music and songs could affect people emotionally, and I was fascinated with that because I knew how music affected me, and I kept music to myself. I never got involved in any sort of musical activities at school, high school,
Really?
and so
Okay.
forth. Yeah, I kept it. It was very personal to me, and it wasn't until I was a senior in high school that I played the piano in my homeroom one time. I was in there playing the piano, and the music teacher came up and says, "You know, I want to strangle you. I could have used you for 4 years, you know." To play in the different ensembles and accompany this and accompany that, and it wasn't until I graduated college that I decided I was going to play, you know, around Philadelphia in the neighborhood piano bars and so forth, and start playing for people. And I started playing for people, and then I started discovering the songs of the Great American Songbook, and I started incorporating those into my repertoire. And then one day someone said, "Hey, can you sing that tune that you're playing?" And I said, "Sure." And I sang the words, and they were like, "Okay, well, can you sing another one now?" And I started to get a lot of positive reinforcement. And then I started singing, more and more. And I moved up to New York, and I played up there. I played through all the piano bars you could imagine up there in Manhattan, and met my wife, who's Kirsten. Her name is Kirsten Laura Becker. That's her stage name, and she's a cabaret performer. She performed in New York City, and we actually met at the Walnut Street Theater in Philadelphia, where we were both in a show, and kept the music going. And I've never
That's
stopped.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Amy,
I'm glad
Amy
you
and I-
made your piano teacher mad in your senior year. So
My piano
See?
teacher, yeah.
Yeah. Amy and I met when I wandered out of a campsite after drinking 18 cans of beer. She hit me with her car.
yeah, okay. It's so romantic.
That's a true story. Right
No,
there.
and I'm kind of the opposite. I was very involved in band in school. I played the flute and the piccolo, and when I was in grammar school, I always got all the leads in the little plays and stuff like that, and I was in choir, and I didn't think much of it. I just figured I was just it was fun. It was a kid thing. It was cool,
Yeah.
and then
You were just confident that you were gifted. Yes, of course.
no, I don't think so. No, I didn't feel. My point is I didn't feel that at all. And then in 7th grade, the high school choir teacher said, we want to try to encourage some 7th graders to try out for the All South Jersey Choir, which was 7th through 12th grade. Well, obviously, 7th graders don't have as much experience or training. There wasn't much of a chance that anybody would actually make it, especially since our school system hadn't had people I can't think of the word now, audition before, but they wanted to expose us, so once we got to the high school, we'd have a chance, and, I tried out, and I made it, and it was the first time someone in the middle school had made it, and I'm like, wow, maybe I can sing, and I continued through and did all that, and then I got to college, and I graduated in 3 years, so I took so many classes, I didn't have time for the extracurricular activities, and I kind of just dropped it. Now, I still play, I can still play the flute. In fact, I played a song for my niece a couple weeks ago because she was begging me to. But I didn't continue on with that, I guess because life kind of got in the way, and I kind of regret it. So that's why I was asking you.
Well, you make a good point with your choir teacher. Mine was my high school guidance counselor who met with me once a year. Just to ask me how things were going, and every time she met with me, I said everything's fine. Freshman, sophomore, junior year, everything's fine, and then senior year, everything's fine. It's thanks for meeting me. And then she says, "Well, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? I mean, you're graduating." And I said, "Oh, I don't know. Why didn't you ask me before?"
Yeah, really.
You had 4 years to ask me. So she says, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "I have no idea." She goes, "Well, what do you enjoy?" I said, "Well, I enjoy music." She goes, "Really? You want to do that for a living? You can go to college for music." I said, "What?" "Yeah, you can go to college for music." And she took out this big book from the shelf and opened it up and showed me a bunch of colleges, and I was considering Berkeley and then University of the Arts and Esther Boyer and Philadelphia and Hart College and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, wow, this is neat. I could do this for a living. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, my biggest inspiration for music early on was actually a math teacher who suggested that I, try the band because maybe I could be good at that.
That's really delightful.
Well, you got to count.
Yeah.
You got to count to be a percussionist, so you couldn't have been that bad.
But yeah, it's the upside is that most bars have a finite amount of notes in them, so that I don't have to square anything, and I don't have to come up with any theorem or anything. I can just count. Which I'm up in the hundreds now, so it's pretty good. Now, Amy, you said you were going to launch before your story. You were going to launch into a story. You still have that prepared?
I do, but I think maybe it might be a good time to take a little quick commercial break, actually.
That's exactly what I was going to suggest. Maybe keep that handy. If Robert would indulge us, we do have some folks that sponsor the show. We'd like to get that taken care of, and then we will rejoin you on the other side.
Hey, everybody. This is Doc of the Doc and Amy Show. I just wanted to let you in on a secret of mine. CPS Computers. They've been serving the area's computer needs for over 8 years now, and when it comes to computers, they can help you out too. They have a wide variety of new PCs and laptops to choose from. They do free diagnostics, and they can repair your broken machine for you. That's CPS Computers. They're at 722 Mantua Pike at the Heights Plaza in Woodbury Heights, and they're between the Subway and the Dollar Tree. Visit them or call 856-251-1007. That's 251-1007. And be sure to tell them Doc and Amy sent you.
Interrupt us. Okay. Hello,
Yeah,
we are back.
Hello.
And I'm going to do a couple Christmas stories that I came up with since it's the Christmas season. And I don't know about you guys, but now I'm in the mood. I originally looked at the weather to see what was going on, as I always do. I plan my day around the weather. So
wait a minute, in the mood. I got stuck at this in the mood part.
Yeah. It was originally supposed to just have some light flurries this morning, and then turn to rain. And Doc and I were outside, and we came back in. And 2 minutes later, I look out the door, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's really, really snowing."
Oh, we got a huge
and he's
amount.
like, "It's not going to lay." And this is what he says: "It's not going to lay. It's going to go away." I'm like, "Okay." 5 minutes later, I look out the door. Everything's covered. It's coming down. It was crazy. The kids were so excited.
We went outside and built a snowbomber.
A snowbomber.
Yes.
Whatever. Anyway, so I'm kind of in the mood to do some Christmas stuff. So the first one I have is a poll that was recently done. And the recent poll shows that Christmas is the time of the year that child predators hate the most because of the abundance in candy and toys makes kids 10 times less likely to get in their van.
Oh,
so it's a bad time of year to be a predator. So if you're a predator, just enjoy the holidays and drink your hot cocoa and prey on children afterwards. So anyway.
Oh, good advice. Good advice.
Hold on, I'm writing that down.
Or you can just drive off a cliff and die. That would be a great Christmas gift for me.
Your choice. Yes.
Okay. And then, this time of year, I don't know about everybody else, but, I'm always cooking. Like, we had a birthday party yesterday, and we have Christmas parties, and you're baking cookies for neighbors and teachers and people, and there's lots of parties, and I'm cooking all the time. So I thought it would be a good time to mention some tips on things to do on how to care for your knives. So there's a couple common mistakes that people do that ruin their good knives.
Our knives are important.
Knives are important. They are. First of all, you should always wash and dry your knives by hand. Don't put them in the dishwasher because they can bang up against other things. The dishwasher chemicals can hurt them, so wash them by hand. 2, sharpen your knives every time you use them. Use a sharpening steel and then a honing steel every couple months. You want them nice and sharp. You're actually less likely to get cut if you have a sharp knife. If it isn't sharp, it can slip and cut you. So sharpen your knives. And then C, always be sure to cut on the correct surface. You should only use a wood or plastic cutting board. For instance, if you need to use your knives to say, I don't know, cut up and dispose of a human body, or maybe slice up your neighbor's dog into that sashimi that everyone loves at your parties, then for God's sake, people, just put a piece of cardboard underneath because you don't want to ruin your knives. And there's nothing worse than ruining a good knife. So for anybody carrying out criminal activities with knives, just don't ruin them because that can ruin your holiday. So
well, yes, we have quite a controversy at our house once in a while because I have a $600 set of Wusthoffs that I just stand in front of when anybody enters the kitchen so that they can't touch them.
Whatever.
Because they end up nicked and scarred, and it's then I go ballistic.
Yeah, I shouldn't even have said this story because I knew it would start him on a rant about this, but whatever. So then, we have to plan our Sunday evening. We're all stuck in. Nobody's going to go anywhere. You got to, settle down, light the fire, put on the tree, and put on a good movie. So tonight's Sunday night movie is called The Silent but Deadly A. And it's a story about when Megadeth realized that they spelled their name wrong and their journey to ensure that kids everywhere know how to spell. It's very touching, and I encourage everybody to watch it. So
and educational. Wow, it's a Hallmark moment.
Yeah, The Silent but Deadly A. So
I thought you were going somewhere else with that. Thank God it's Megadeth.
No. So watch that touching story about Megadeth, and maybe you can learn something. So, and I would mention what channel that's on, but I completely made that up. So
yeah, and
Kirk
Cameron is going to be
Kirk Cameron as the head singer of Megadeth. Yeah, he kind of actually looks like one of the guys because I looked at a picture of them today, and he kind of looks like one of them. But anyway, we all know that Nelson Mandela passed away. I think that was Friday. And, my kids did not know who Nelson Mandela is. Apparently they haven't gotten there in school yet. They're doing,
they don't teach stuff in school anymore.
Well, they don't do, 21st century history or 20th century history until they get to high school. So they haven't heard much about Nelson Mandela. They recognize the name, but they didn't know much more than that. So I was watching the news, which I never do. I really hardly ever put on the news, but I decided it was time to sit down and relax, and there was like 5 minutes left until, the next show came on. And I'm like, let me just flip on the news. And there was a nice story about him, so I had the kids listen to that. But, so they can learn about him, and they thought it was pretty cool. But I also read about a really touching story about Nelson Mandela's jailer. I think everybody knows he went to jail for something like 27 years, and that was a repercussion of his fight against apartheid. Well, in the time that he was there was a man who was his jailer, the guy who watched over him in jail almost the entire time, and his name was Christo Brand. And Christo was basically his jailer, so him and Nelson Mandela got very close. Eventually, when Nelson Mandela got out and was elected to president, Christo Brand was one of the people that he really looked out for. He wanted to make sure, because he treated him so well, treated Nelson Mandela so well, and he was a white man, Christo Brand, or he is a white man, he really appreciated what he did. So he got him a job in Parliament, and he was just like, he just did errands, like he'd hand out pamphlets or do office tasks or things. But obviously it's a better job than being a jailer. It's a lot safer, or maybe it isn't sometimes. But so, Christo Brand, they interviewed him, and apparently this was the first time he had seen Nelson Mandela after he got out of prison and was elected. And Nelson went to a Parliament meeting, and of course Christo was there because he had gotten him a job. And Christo says in the interview, he immediately made a big announcement to everyone. You know who is this person? And this is translated from Afrikaans, I think is how you say it. So, this person was my warden. This person was my friend. And this is Nelson Mandela saying that. So afterwards, they went out for a group photo, and Nelson Mandela insisted that Brand be in the picture. So, Brand tells us further in the interview that this whole situation, it really changed him a lot. And he also had some very touching commentary. And I quote, Christo says, "I guess if I had to be stuck with a black prisoner, Nelson would be my choice. Well, unless Chris Rock was available to guard, because he's really, really funny, No offense to Mandela. And I think, Brand's comment showed just how far South Africa's come.
Yes,
Really. I mean, it's just very touching. It's almost as touching as the Megadeth movie.
Right. Chris Rock is big in South Africa, I'm sure. Well, all right. I was, trying to, hang on through that whole story, because I had heard it and I knew the punchline. So, it was tough because I was anticipating that.
I'm glad you're so excited.
Well, no, so, I just, when I know where you're going with the story, I can't wait for us to get there.
Well, thank you.
Did you know that now every year they track, Tamara, are you still with us?
I'm still with you.
Okay. I don't know if you've seen this piece of business in the news or not, but what they do every year is calculate, based on current dollars, what the 12 days of Christmas would cost. And, of course, that's based on the song where a lover gives gifts every day for 12 days of Christmas. Mm-hmm. 5, golden rings, Lords of Leaping, all that stuff.
How do you calculate the cost of a Lord of Leaping?
By the leap, I'm sure. Anyway, they're probably union. Anyway, I don't know. Geese laying. I mean, really? So anyway, they found that the cost this year is up 7.7% above the 2012 dollars.
Wow.
So, Tamara, guess how much the 12 days of Christmas would cost you in 2013 dollars?
I'm going to say $310,000. I want to be on your Christmas list. Actually, I didn't know this. I saw it last year, and this year it's up to $27,393. Really?
Wow. I still want
do they factor in the 9 ladies dancing?
Well, what about the 12 maids of milking? I mean,
right. They cows, right?
Come on.
They aren't cheap.
And God forbid they're lactating at the same time. That'll cost you double.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that's interesting. I never knew they did that before. I've never seen that story before. That's pretty cool that they do that. When did they start doing that?
Well, apparently about $27,000 ago.
Well, there you go. You're right there. Oh, poor guy.
I am choked. And for those of you who maybe just joined us, we are doing today's show as a remote. We're all on phones. So God love Robert for tying all this together. I know it's difficult. And I've had a virus for the last few days.
Actually, for anybody who's listening, he doesn't have a virus. Again, he was at the Justin Bieber concert screening last night.
Yes, I was. I was asking someone to shoot me.
Which would actually happen probably if he went to the Justin Bieber concert.
Yes.
No doubt. Yeah, it's very challenging to call in, the show. It seems like it would be simple, but it isn't. But, we saw the weather, and sometimes it's just not worth it to risk it to drive out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, when it gets like this, especially at night, things start to freeze over. Mm-hmm. You don't know if the weather's going to get worse, if the roads are going to start freezing, and it's just, we love our radio show, but we love our lives more. So
yeah. It reminds me of my ex, who I discovered was bipolar. You say the wrong things, you frost it over at both ends.
That's messed up. I hope you never say this stuff about me.
Well, no, of course not. You will probably take me up on that shoot me challenge at some point. This is the part of the show where we do begin to wind down, and I want to thank Tamara for joining us and delighting us with, the tales about Tamara. It was a delight, and I want everybody to enjoy the great music. Go to his website, TamarTufik.com. There's a link on our website. You can't miss it. Thank you, Tamara, for indulging us today.
It was my pleasure. Thanks
Now,
for having
Tamara,
me.
I want to ask your permission. Typically, we did have a little problem playing the file today. However, usually I have my computer there and I play everything. But obviously, we couldn't do that today.
Right.
Is it okay if we continue to play your music, especially throughout the Christmas season?
I'd be honored. I'd be honored.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. We try to, at least for brief periods of our show, to bring some actual entertainment to people. So that will be how we do that. It'll be accomplished through your music. Thank you for that. I'd like to thank Amy for indulging me because I have no voice. Thank you for the Amy show today. Thank you for being there.
How about
Robert,
indulging me for not being able to sleep for the last 5 nights because of your coughing?
Well, that's just part of the gig, sweetheart.
That's just love.
Yes. Thank you, Robert, for tying all this looniness together. Thanks for being there, and thank you. Congratulations, rather, on your win. We will visit that Two People, One Quote again next week. You can visit our website, www.thedocandamyshow.com. There are all kinds of links to various places around the planet and other places. And you can see the contest that we have up right now.
Doc, can you tell us about our guest for next week? Because we still have a few minutes left here, so...
Well, and we were going to play a selection on the way out. So, yes, our guest for next week, True Jacobs. He's from New York. He is a musical comic. And he is going to, if you look at the event schedule on our website, he's going to debut his single for Christmas, A Strip Club Christmas Eve. And I'm looking forward to that.
And it's actually not as dirty as it sounds. It's
yes,
pretty tame.
We have sampled it. It's very funny
tame. Yes, funny.
But it's it's something that will, of course, get your attention. So we will also be featuring Tamara's selection from time to time, along with Todd Chappelle. Also has some Christmas music that we will be utilizing. So we're going to keep that Christmas spirit alive for everyone, so that from now until Christmas, you can enjoy your holiday along with us. Be sure to tune in next week at 5 p.m. for the Doc and Amy Show. Visit our website, visit Tamara's website, and we will close out with some of Tamara's music and say thank you for listening.